So we're just moments away from the start of the 2013 Marathon des Alpes-Maritimes, and the Africans making their way to the front of the starting block. The fastest man in the field is Yared Charou, wearing bib number 1, and away they go. Most of the runners setting off their own clocks just to make sure that the timing is right, and really to facilitate their pacing as they go through. You may be able to do a little bit better than you've done before, but if you push too hard, too early, you will pay the price. And particularly today, as Paula said, with the strong winds they're expecting in Cannes, which will be straight in their faces, they need... Well, already a group distinguishing itself up front, the man in blue and white 5. And one rather unusual relay, 2 runners, and the aim is to produce exactly the same time for the 2 halves. That's something new. Number 3 there, looking very, very composed in the early stages, is Abdissa Sori, who's a man with a personal best of just over 2 hours, 10 minutes. He did that in Hanover. There he is, tall man with the orange t-shirt, black vest on the far side. Well, a healthy pace early on. And just set their rhythm all the way along the Promenade des Anglais. We head down towards Antibes. And once they get to Antibes, they're pretty much at the 30-kilometre mark. So that leaves them with 12 kilometres to go. Delorme, I think, is the best of the French competitors in the field, and she'll be looking to take the French national title today, which, of course, is part of this race as well. So from a group of 20, we now have 11 or so men up the front. Eddie Otello doing 5 miles each, although the distances aren't exact. One by one, they're dropping out of that leading group, as is so often the way. 19 kilometres completed, and there certainly seems to be an injection in speed. These 2 men have been setting the pace all the way along, but the favourites just getting out of the wind very sensibly indeed. Abdissa still there. Eddie Otello is there wearing 5. We've seen Wossen Zelecki, number 7, and also Titus Kurgat hasn't shown himself at the front, but he's tucked in there, and he's wearing bib number 9. Through the halfway marker, the time on the clock, 1:06.13 for the leaders. Now, it doesn't take a genius to work out that they're looking at a time of 2 hours. They can get some sort of protection from the wind. Abdissa Sori in second place there, still happy to tuck in. He's been up the front. He hasn't wanted to let anyone get away. Obviously feeling very good because he's had a number of changes of pace, and he's just matching whoever is prepared to lead. Round the Cap d'Antibes, beautiful part of the course, and really this is the only hill to speak about on the course on a windless day. Very fast times expected here in the Nice-Cannes Marathon. 8-kilometre leg. Now they're starting to string out at the front of the field, and that's usually an indication that the pace has picked up yet again. And for the first time, Sori looking as though he doesn't want to stick with the pace. It's an early break to make. Still some way to go. Number 7, that's Wossen Zelecki in the green shirt, and he's very busy with his eyes, just checking out all the other runners in that group. 7 in all, and The two leaders have been brought back in these sort of conditions. It really doesn't make sense to go for an early break, as are the leaders at the moment. And for the first time, Abdissa Sorry, remember, a 2:10.15 under his belt, but they're not on that sort of pace at the moment. He's also an international 1500-meter runner for Ethiopia, so if it comes to a sprint finish, I guess you've got to put a fair amount of your money on him. The length of his legs and the speed, the cadence that he can achieve must stand him in good stead for the final kilometres, should he still be there with the leaders. Still looking comfortable. Number 7 in second place at the moment, Wosun Seleki, 21-year-old Ethiopian. Did a 2:10.56 in Warsaw in September. He also raced in Rome in March, and I think he was out in Dubai earlier on in the year in January. So he's had a really busy time, the man in the green t-shirt, and that surely must cost him at some stage this season if he keeps that sort of programme going. So Sorry, Taylor, Seleki, all up there in the lead at the moment. Edio Taylor out front for the first time, 23-year-old, Ethiopian as well. So Ethiopia 1, 2 and 3, who's certainly pushing the pace behind, as are these men up front. Number 5, Edio Taylor, you can see on the far side. Number 9, that's Titus Kurgat, who's fought himself back towards the leaders, but suddenly finds himself fading as they approach the finish here in Cannes. A quick drink for Edio Taylor, passes the bottle on to Wosun Seleki, who drops back a couple of metres. Certainly needs to be careful. That's where so many breaks occur in these marathons. No drink for Abdissa Sorry. Is that a sign that he's feeling good, or did he just not want to expend the energy? Or, well, she's tucked in for now. When we see her again, let's hope that she's going to make a race of it. In the men's, it's all about Abdissa Sorry and Edio Taylor. Sorry on the left-hand side, the long, lanky legs eating up the distance as he closes down on the finish at Cannes. It's going to be tactical. These two men have hardly been 5 metres apart at any stage of this marathon. And you can see Wosun Seleki some 60 metres back. No danger to the leaders at the moment. From a group of 20, it's been whittled down to the best two. Edio Taylor, a big moment for him. He's only 23, a very young marathon runner indeed, but already showing himself to have an immense amount of quality. Will he be a match for Abdissa Sorry? Sorry, I think, has run a very intelligent race so far. He's looked for shelter whenever it's available, and if the pace has dropped, he's been brave enough to go through and just push it to make sure that those who've dropped off the pace don't make contact again. Now they're running well under 5-minute miles. Superb, something like 150,000. That might be on the optimistic side, but a well-supported event nonetheless. And certainly it is growing in importance. French runners here, only just over 50% of the competitors coming from France. Britain with 17%, that's a good turnout, the best of the other nations. But they don't have any contenders in this leading group. It is all about Ethiopia, who stand 1, 2 and 3 at the moment, and it's just a question of which one of them is going to win. Will it be Sorry? Will it be Taylor? Here is Sorry, who's still looking smooth, and for the first time he makes a break ahead, lengthens that stride of his. And now it's up to Edio Taylor to try and hang on. Taylor, remember, only 23 years old. He raced brilliantly in Rheims. He raced well in Israel in January as well, going under 2 hours 11. It's much slower today because of the conditions. But this is going to be one of the toughest finishes that he's faced. He must stay right on the shoulder of Sorry if he's going to take victory here. Sorry still winding it up. 100 metres to go for the man. challenge from Eddie Otello, but too little, too late from Taylor, and it's Sorry who takes the victory. What a fantastic finish. 42 kilometers of running and only a split second between the two of them. Wosan Zaleki at 21. Well, he's got a fantastic future ahead of him, and that was brilliant experience for him. Here comes Titus Kurgat. We saw him in Frankfurt. He did pretty well in the Kilimanjaro Marathon, finishing 5th there at altitude. He won in Riga in 2012, and he has to settle for 4th position today. He won't be particularly happy, but it looks as though he ran out of steam in the closing stages. But he is the best of the Kenyans today. Ethiopia totally dominating, and Abdisa Sorry notching